What's up, guys? Man on the Moon here with another video. Today I'm going to be joined by Lockdown and Texx, and we're going to be going over the Bit Shop and Mythic Market refreshes that are going to be coming up into the game. And I'm going to be getting their opinions, and we're going to just be talking about stuff. So thank you guys for joining me.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here. What's up, Moon?
So I'm going to just dive right into it. We've got the Bit Shop refresh coming here today in a few hours. And they are, same as usual, pretty much, it looks like, except for that crate. And they had taken that crate out, and I want to know your thoughts on it, because that is what a lot of people are talking about it. We're gonna go with lockdown first.
Okay, on the crate specifically, I can understand why it was taken out. They didn't want people having multiple regions, and that's going to be 100% the reason why it was taken out. But the issue I find with the crate itself is the fact that it was pretty much the thing that made the reduction in the amount of claims of the 5K seem a little bit less impactful to a certain extent. So now they've taken that away, and now we just have like massively reduced claims. I think they definitely should have done something else with that crate rather than just straight out removing it. Personally,
Right. And I agree with a lot of that. I think you're right. The multiple regions is 100% why it was removed. What are your thoughts, Tex?
Yeah, I can understand the multiple regions thing, but my the real question that I have is, okay, how many people actually got the 8250 coins, right? With such a small margin, I know people personally who did 20, 30 openings, 40 openings, and didn't get anything but maybe silver mythics and some bernadettes. So I would like to know um you know what the real numbers look like. And it just seems to me that every time something happens where they make a mistake, we're penalized for it, and then there's no compensation in return. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, all right, we're removing this because we made a mistake, but we're not bringing anything back in return. It's just gone, right? And then I did get the other side of that too, where people do abuse things, right? So I'm quite sure they could just roll back the clock if you see abuse, correct? Like I remember when they had gave those boxes out in the Bacon region. Well, I forgot the name of the region. They gave these boxes out, and it wasn't fair to other players. They just simply rolled it back. So my thing is, you have that power.
Yeah, but that was one region affected, not the entire game. Having to go back through every account in every region is a bit different than rolling back one region because
One
one
region.
region was messed up. Um, I personally, I think that the biggest issue that they faced is just the fact that they gave out all those, they had that calendar where they gave out all the free tunes last month. And they're not going to be doing that every single month. As much as, yes, you might say that it limits their ability to do things like that going forward. Because honestly, I would rather have them give me a login calendar where they give a bunch of characters out once every 3 or 4 months than to have that crate where I've got a 1% chance at that. Personally, I didn't even go for it. I know a lot of people did the farming to get those crates. I didn't even bother. I did not open a single one of those crates on any region because at the end of the day, it was a 1% chance. And I think that if they were to have left it, it would have ended up being the people that truly wanted to farm those crates would have been exclusively restricted to Survivors Club members who get the gold mythic tokens for having, the calendar for having Survivors Club. You get I honestly, I didn't do the math. I would assume it's about 10 pulls a month off that calendar. So every other month, you would be able to go through all your regions and get one crate at a 1% chance. Are you going to hit it sometime? Are people going to hit it every other month? Yeah, some people are going to hit it every other month, but how devastating is that box really? And I think the login calendar is actually probably what tipped it to the favor of them taking the crate out, is because they saw the potential of that calendar being abused in conjunction with that crate throughout the game.
Yeah. But do you think it's a? I mean, with how things are structured, right? The it's not really even worth going through 100 regions trying to get a 1% pull. Like we kind of, for most of us who are seasoned veterans, right? We know how this the Scopely engine works when it comes to rarities and things of that nature. It's just not likely to do that. So you're gonna wind up spending more time chasing than actually getting a reward. So I definitely see. Like I said, I can see both sides. I see why they would want to remove it from the game, um, because it does limit. If you wanted to do something like this in the future, it creates another problem. But it's just that it's just it's so to me it just seems so small. Maybe the numbers are bigger than what we assume, right? But it just seems like such a small thing, and then to not have anything in return is an issue for me.
Yeah, I think the nothing in return is pretty bad, but my thoughts are like, how much of an impact did this really have on like spending? Because that's going to be the end of the day. That's going to be the thing. How much people won't spend because they're getting these coins. I don't think it's going to have any impact at all. Because when you look at Wales, they're going to have like a budget, right? And they're going to spend their budget no matter what. Like, you put up offers, they're gonna buy all the offers they're gonna buy with their budget. They're not gonna be like, oh, I got 8,000 coins from this crate, I'm gonna spend $100 less this month. They'll just spend that $100 somewhere else, right? So it's not like they're not gonna spend money. And then the people who don't buy coins are not gonna buy coins anyway. I don't think this is gonna have any impact at all on spending, but it would have an impact potentially on like players just kind of happy that's an option. I saw people, like you said, I saw people doing like 50, 60, even 100 and getting nothing, but still
Nothing.
still kind of happy about the situation, Still happy about it because they know there was a chance. They felt there was a chance, you know? But,
What
yeah.
what I remember, one of the highest engagements I've ever had in this game was swapping around regions, getting coins. They're in that gate. And it was just as much as that actually was terrible for the game, it was fun. And I think this gives almost the same, like you said, people were happy about it. It gives the same sort of enjoyment of, will I get this? Or what will I get? Because back then, the majority of your opens were like 100 coins, I believe. You were just hoping for the big pulls.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
But then
but it actually was terrible for the game because, you had people racking up hundreds of thousands of coins, as to where you will not see a single person rack up hundreds of thousands of coins doing this, unless they're doing it on 100 regions every single month, for years on end. I would say it would probably take, I'd say it'd take at least a full year to hit 100 Ks worth of coins from those on 100 regions. Even, you're looking at, what's that, 1,200 months worth of gameplay worth of tokens to get 100K worth of coins. I mean, if you
yeah,
want to do that, go for it, bub. I'm not.
just to pull and get nothing anyway. So it's like you see what I'm saying is everything is layered, right? So it's like, okay, you could go to all these regions, get 100K coins, right? And then you can do, let's say, 12, 13, 40 pulls and still get nothing, except for if you don't have Survivor Club, you know, you'll get, what is it, three of the tune? You need five for max, right? You could still do all those other pulls and get absolutely nothing. I know people who've done 320 pulls and got nothing but the three pity pulls that you got. And if they didn't have those pity pulls, they would have gotten absolutely nothing for the amount that's required. So I don't think that the punishment justifies the reward that is in place, because everything is so layered. So there needs to be something in return.
Yeah, but that's a bit of a different topic. All right, so moving on to what else is in the bit shop. What do you think about the total amount of gold mythic token claims that are available, the 5K for 1 bit? Because personally, I think that number is just a bit too low. I know most people want to see it reverted way back to like a huge number, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 40 to 50 a month might be reasonable, especially with the removal of the crate. I would say that's a more reasonable number. Um, Tex, what do you think about that? What do you think the actual number should be, or a rough number, I should say?
I actually I agree with you. I think that 40 to 50 of them should be claimable. I think to drop from what were we getting, like 200 down to um 25 is a bit drastic. Um so yeah, and also too, like with the bit shop, I think it's every 30 days now. So, and the other one was 90 days, right?
Was it 90 days or 60? I honestly don't remember.
I think it
Lockdown, do
was
you
I think
remember?
I think
Yeah,
it
it
was
was not. It
90.
was 90. It was linked.
Oh,
It was directly connected to the Mythic store for sure.
to the Mythic store.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
So if it was 90 days, then think of it, it's resetting every month. So we're getting 75 pulls over that time frame, where normally we were getting 200. That's a massive decrease in what you can
Well,
be
and it
able to
wasn't
get.
even actually 75 pull. It's not actually 75 pulls since it's only 5K tokens per claim, and it's 75 claims. It's actually
True.
what
It's half of
32,
that
32 and a
32.
half, 32 and a
You're
half.
right.
So you're going down from 100 to 32 and a half.
Yeah, you're right. That's a massive difference.
37 and a half. 37 and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 12 and a half a month, which just is weird. It's just such a weird number, you know? 12 and a half pulls every month.
Right, right. Yeah. And that,
Yeah.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And the fifth, yeah, I just think it should, like you said, I totally agree with you. I think it needs to be more, man. Simple as that.
Lockdown, your thoughts? What do you think the number should be at?
I think that it maybe could be increased a little bit. I think it'd be probably better to change the secondary claim thing. The 5K, like, I don't think that's ever really going to budge. They're going to have that and just keep that at that. But, like, we should have been getting what's, like, if we just say we get 66 per month normally on the 200, right? So we've had, like, a more than 50% reduction there. I think being able to do 30 or even 40, somewhere in that region. I know it's just a little bit more than what we can get, but it's just that kind of round number as well. The 12 and a half doesn't seem right, but I think the second one is the one that's hurting more, honestly, because personally I'm never going to claim that because it's just so expensive for what you get. I think it's like 1.5k got mythic tokens for 2 gil bits, which is honestly like ridiculous. Like I thought the ones in the previous store were bad, but that's terrible. Like I'm pretty sure in the previous store it went 5k, 2.5k, 1k, but they all cost 1 gil bit. And now we've got this 1.5k for 2 gil bits, so it's like 750 per gil bit is crazy. So I think
Yeah.
that needs to change more than anything. It would be nice if the 25 could increase a bit, but I honestly don't think that's ever going to budge. I think we've got more chance of having the 1.5k be changed because I personally I don't really like that. I don't think many people do at all.
That's a good call out, honestly, because I mean, there again, I'm at this point I'm essentially free to play. I was telling we were talking before we started this recording, and I was saying I haven't spent anything in over 6 months. I'm doing that free to play life at this point, and like as much as I never would have emptied out the 200 tokens in that 3-month period anyway. And I probably wouldn't. I would have just waited for the reset, is what it came down to. But I could see whales actually going for like the 2.5K tokens, and I can't see any player looking at that. What would you say, 1250 for two? I can't see any player looking at that as a viable option. So why have it if I mean, I'm sure their analytics would show that not many people are taking it, but I would be surprised if it was any, honestly.
Yeah, it's you got to do 200. So for example, if you start at 0, right? You would have to sell 250 tunes, let's say dupes that you'll get, but you will only get literally like 18 pulls back in return. So you're selling 250 dupes, but you're getting 18 pulls back in return. That's a
Yeah.
very bad, like ratio wise, like it just doesn't make sense to even spend on that 1500, as you and Locke said. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, 14 dupes per one pull. It's nuts. That's crazy.
All right. So what do you think could be added or changed to the shop specifically in either the gilded bits or just the rare bit section? Lockdown, what do you think?
I think the guild bits section, they could re-add that crate and just put something else instead of the coins. Maybe military supplies, just a big chunk of military supplies. It's something that everyone kind of wants and needs all the time. So at least all of those rewards are like reasonable. I would make it so that the secondary claims was like 2,000 gold mythic tokens costing one. That means every 5 dupes you get one character. That's still really expensive, but 14 duplicates for one character is absolutely crazy what it is right now. So that's what I'd mainly change there. I would say obviously more 5k claims, but yeah, we've already talked about that. Also, I would increase the amount of TWD gold medal claims up to maybe 10 claims of that, or at least 8, so you could get like 2 copies of a 20k character in the Mythic store. When it comes to rare bits, I think the rare bits are okay. Obviously, you could add whatever you wanted in here. Maybe there could be some sort of like rare bit to gold mythic token conversion here, but that could be the one that's not expensive. But you see, that would be worthwhile, right? If it was like 5k, you could claim it 10 times with like 100 rare bits. I think people would probably do that because rare bits aren't that good unless you really need silvers. So, but I think the rest is good. I think the changes that they did here were good. Benedict's got reduced in price. Silver's got reduced in price. Blowtorches got added. So I think overall the rare bits was pretty positive. It's just the guild bit situation was not great.
Yeah.
Text, what do you
I,
think?
I think that they could add more gold medals simply right now, because if like you look in a gold medal market, that's pretty much where you can get, like the only place where you can get a guaranteed 5 set of a tune, which is what you need tier 8 in order to be able to max a tune out, right? So like, even though they may be tunes that much, a lot of the fan base and a lot of the player base have, um I think the gold medal could be updated and give more for the gold medals, because that's the place where you can get a guaranteed tune. That's how I view that. And I think the silver choice tokens, even though it's reduced, could be reduced again. I think it should be 10, and the silver random token should be 5 rare bits. Um Benedict's are good, world cans are good, is here too. I think there's room to add maybe survivor role cans to this market as well. You can use your rare bits to kind of like convert to get survivor role cans or raid cans. I think that'll help out as well too there. So that's what I think about the market and everything.
All right. I don't think there's any chance we see any other cans in there. Um, Especially not survival road cans. They're pretty stingy with those. It's pretty much hold on to them for dear life until you really need to use them, in my experience. So I agree with you with a lot of it. With the gilded bits, obviously, we talked about it. I think the number of 5K should be increased a bit. But whether or not it happens, I kind of agree with you, Lockdown. I think they have their hard line and they're going to stick with it. Um, the secondary claim definitely does need to change. And I think the crate should be re-added and just make it more all-encompassing, but just giant numbers. So you've got the three things that are in there. You talked about adding military supplies. I could go as far as say add a 10 pack of choice crates for Bernadette and Maddox would be a good addition. Maybe 25 pack of choice crates between um, Ulysses and Lilith. Benedicts could be added, even though you do have the Bernadettes in there. You could have Benedicts in there, just because some people are maxed out on Bernadettes, some people are maxed out on Benedicts. As far as the rare bits go, that's where I think the real changes need to be made. I think the silvers need to be reduced, like you said, Tex, because even though I'm in a huge silver crunch, I'm not going to spend 10 bits on a random silver. If it was 5, I would do it. I'm at the point where I just upgrade my sixes and ascend them to silvers because it only costs me 3 characters to do it. It costs me resources during level ups, I'm getting points. So it's kind of a win-win there. And I think more armory stuff should be added. They added the blow torches, which shows they're willing to add armory items. I think they should also add duct tapes and polishing kits and uh, engine grease and varnish as well. Because people do run out of that stuff. I know personally, I am out of duct tape. And if you look in the game, there's nowhere to get it. And that, honestly, in my mind, is a low enough tier item that if you were going to put it in any shop anywhere, if I was going to trade anything for duct tapes outside of what I'm already given the availability to in like Supply Depot and stuff, which isn't enough, I would want to just use my regular rare bits for it, right?
Yeah, you're kind of basically saying change it more into like the league store at this point, right? If you're adding lots of different stuff to it, I think maybe that's a different topic, but maybe just fix the league store.
Yeah. Okay, and that's also a fair take. That's actually a very fair take. All right, moving on, guys. We have the Mythic Market refreshing in just over 12 days. And we're going to have a bunch of new characters in there. 90% characters, 10% characters, and a new exclusive that we don't know who they are yet. And I'd like to know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys who would you like to see out of the 90% section? We'll go with Tex first on this one.
Okay, out of the 90% section, there's some very specific tunes I would like to see. I would like to see Skeleton Steve show up in the 90% section. I would like to see Thanksgiving Tyrese show up in here. I think he's a good 90% attack tune. You can be able to use him in some situations. Um, I know she's relatively recent, but Lady Z as well. I would like to see Lady Z show up here in the 90%. Um, because you could just put her in so many team situations, have a good attack team. And we could see maybe Jackie show, as a leader, show up there, and probably have like the gentleman or Carl show up as well as in the 90%.
So all alert tunes then is what you're looking for in the 90% basically.
I mean, it seems like that's all they're giving us right now. So
All right. Well, that was a bit one-sided, but Lockdown, who are you looking for?
I definitely think there needs to be a lot more defense team characters because we need more. Well, a lot of people need more characters on defense teams now. So I'm thinking of like rerunning characters like Barker. He's the only free to play defense lead, for instance. I know he's been in there before, but just putting him back in, people might have missed him. Newer players have joined the game. You know, at the end of the day, I think that part of the Mythic Market is generally for newer players. So like Barker and let's say Dayu for strong, I think they're pretty good like defense team characters. Not like top tier, but they're pretty decent. I'd like to see Isabel maybe go in there as an attack team character, although I primarily want to see defense team characters. There's not too many good fast defense team characters that are free to play. Like Sawyer is the most recent, but he's just really recent. And I'll pose the other one that's really good, so maybe she could go in there, but I don't know. She's like probably the best defense team character in the 90%. So out of the other tier, the other traits, sorry. I'd probably say Conrad to go in there for tough, not attack team character. Pretty useful though against certain characters. And then again, not too many defense team characters in there except like what Angel basically, who are tough. So it's more offense based characters, but you know you could throw in someone else. You could rerun exactly the same characters we've got this time around. You could do either again, you know, or maybe Aiko. I know a lot of people don't have Aiko. She's part of a Mythic collection, so that's kind of cool. And then lastly for Alert, I think Steve is like the only real like must because he's probably the best defense team character out of the 90% that hasn't been run, and because of this, the war change, it has to happen, right? And I think the other one maybe would be like Jiefeng because she's another defense team character. People who picked up Pam this time around could have like a 3-piece base with those alert characters, and then throw in like even if it's like Dayu plus even Barker. You could put Barker. I've seen Barker as a non-lead, and he's still reasonable. You know, I'm just thinking of people trying to make more defense teams right now.
Right. And that's totally understandable. I think with this market changing, or this market update, I should say, coming right around the time with this update coming, this one should be fairly defense team centric. Um, Personally, I'm looking at Lao Po. I definitely want to see in there. I know she was in a premium stash, but you know, throw the people a bone. It's been a while, and I don't think she's definitely not OP. Like she's not game breaking. You could throw a Slapo. I'd like to see, as you said, Lockdown. I'd like to see Dayu. I would definitely like to see Jiafang and Holiday Carl, just because he helps. I think having Holiday Carl will, as much as I think that this should be a defense centric update, I think that one character alone, with him being a holiday hero and having that holiday hero passive, he would enhance so many other characters that it would just open up a bunch of different avenues for attack teams that he would be a good fit. Um, Absolutely Skeleton Steve. Correct to both of you. He has to be there. Like 100%. He's not anywhere in the realm of new enough that they should be able to like justify being like, oh, well, he's too good to put in there. Like
I think
he's
that's a good
meta.
test. I think that's a good test. If they don't put him in there, then they're not really thinking about players needing characters for war. So
Right.
that's
Right.
that's
I mean
that's kind of a good test for me.
I mean it's I mean, how long has he been out now? I mean,
It's
6
before
months.
Christmas. Wasn't he Halloween? I
What?
guess it was
Yeah,
Halloween.
he's Halloween,
Yeah,
so
he's
that'd
before
be.
Halloween. Mhm.
I mean, we're looking at he's a full 6 months old at this point. So actually, probably 7 months because he would have come out for a Halloween event, which would have started weeks before Halloween. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't
Also,
have
his
even
counter's
been.
out as well. You know, Eva's
Yeah,
like pretty much
yeah,
the counter to Steve.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Um, I know Mike is in there now. I think he should stay.
Yeah,
I think
I
he
wouldn't
should
say that's a
stay.
bad thing.
Yeah,
Um,
Mike and Lydia.
Rosita.
Lydia's still good.
Yeah, Lydia as well, but I think most people would that didn't have her maxed out would have insta bought her. And in my mind, the only reason to leave her in there is for the players that will be starting the game in the next 3 months. And as much as it wouldn't be terrible to give them a Lydia within, immediately, essentially, it's still going to take them a little bit of time to get 50k tokens as a brand new player, like the TWD medals. I you could bring her back on the next one. In my mind, I just wouldn't want her to take up a slot because those slots are limited, and I don't necessarily want to have a slot taken up by a toon that everyone literally that's playing the game right now should have. Um, I mean, if you don't, that is 100% your fault. I would rather you put Rosita in there. That was going to be the fast character that I was thinking of because she hasn't been in there as far as I can recall, and she smacks. She is, essentially, especially with all the tough characters that are out these days. I think she's the better pick than Lydia. Um, Moving on to the promo characters, though, if you could give me, 4 or 5 characters just that you really want to see in there, uh, who do you guys want to see? Lockdown, what do you think?
I actually think they've done a good job this current season. There's a lot of defense leaders there. Like for the war update we're talking about already. So definitely pick those guys up if you haven't already. But otherwise, I'd say like maybe some like Cliff. I don't think we've seen Cliff anywhere before. Bodyguard character, quite an old character, but still quite useful. Maybe Negan 2K. Actually, I think Negan 2K's been in there before. Is he in there right now? Actually, I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, he's in it now. He's in
Okay,
it
yeah.
now.
So like probably skip on that one. But maybe we might start moving into like the slightly better characters. Like Advance. Throw Advance in there. Or maybe Marcus. These are defense team characters. Marcus part of a mythic trial as well, which is nice. I'd say primarily defense team characters. So like we get 4 there, right? So 3 defense team characters and 1 attack team character. My attack team character pick would be, let's see, probably Herschel actually, Headless Herschel. Fast character. You can build a fast team. It's what I think a lot of people would like to do right now.
Yep, and I'm actually with you on a couple of those. Like for my specific picks, you named a couple of mine, so that's not some bad picks there. Hex, what are you thinking for the 10%, the promo characters? Who do you want to see?
With the promo characters of 10%, this is where I would go defense, because I just think that there are better 10% characters than there are 90%. So I would go for my 3 promo characters here. I would go with either Tara as the leader here, or I think a rerun of Pamela would be good too, as well, for those who are coming in the game, didn't get a chance to get her. She's still to me personally, one of the premier um, defensive leads in the game. She's probably like 3rd or 4th. So either Tara or Pamela.
Would you actually want one of those 4 slots in the promo to be a rerun, though?
Yeah. So for me, I'm thinking of a leader, because I'm thinking of building a good or secondary defensive team. So if it's not Pamela, I will want it to be another leader, such as like, Tara or somebody of that name. We can't say like St. Patty Priya, because those are newer ones, but I'm thinking of a leader that's going to go in that slot that you can build a decent team around. If we have Tara there, right, you could surround her by blues, and you should have had your hands on Angel already as a free to play, so that's how I'm thinking of it. So with that slot, I would think it would need to be a leader there. And then the other tunes, I would agree with Locke. I would say Vance should be another one that's in there. Davy as well. Um, could be another fit there within that tune range. And there's one tune that could still be used, especially for newer players, and I would say Mr. Lou in those 4 slots there for the premium tunes.
So those were some good call outs, guys. Personally, I'm with you, Locke, in the fact that I would love to see Headless Herschel. That would be like, from my personal perspective, that would be my top pick because I don't have any of him. I would just snap pick up all 5 copies right away. Because I think he's an amazing attack leader, and I mean, I personally, I just want him. I think it. Plus, I think it. There are, not to necessarily say a lack of attack options, but there's a lack of viable attack options at the moment. Most of the stuff has just been pretty outdated. Um, Also, Locke, I would love to see Marcus in there because as much as he might not be a top tier defensive character, he is good on defense in his own right. And he enables people to get an extra copy of William, which I would say that most people that have William probably have him around LB2. And it's probably because they don't have Marcus, and that would enable them to get him to LB3, which is where he gets his big boost on defense, where the passive, or not the passive, but the cleanse becomes a full cleanse. For tough, I would, as much as I would like to see Vance, I think he's a little too powerful still. Um, Plus, I wouldn't necessarily like the thought of fighting him all the time, even though we do need all these defenses. I just think Davy's a bit more realistic. And for alert, I am with you, Tex. I think Mr. Lou would be a good one to throw in there. If I were to have just like one like hope and pray character to add, it would probably be Trader, but I think that's just out of the realm of possibility personally. Um Moving on to the last part though, we have a new exclusive character that's going to be coming to the Mythic Market with the refresh. And although we don't know what it's going to be, I would like your guys' opinion on the type of character that you would like to see. Be it attack character, defense character, a specific specialist skill, or, just whatever. Do you want it to be a controller, a support character? What do you think we need that if you could cherry pick a character, what would you want? Let's go with Lockdown first on this one.
Well, first off, I don't know if it's been said whether they're going to happen every single time. It would be nice. It would be nice if we got an exclusive character again. But
Okay.
I remember when it was originally announced, it was just kind of like it wasn't said like each season style. But definitely would want to see the exclusive character was brought some hype there for everybody. I spent a lot of my TWD gold medals because of that. So really, I'm keeping my fingers crossed there. When it comes to the type of character I think we need, I'd like to see a really good attack character that is a support character. The majority of support characters that are on attack teams are kind of not very good, just because they're not promos, because it's hard to sell characters that don't do huge amounts of damage or haven't got really good kill potential by themselves. And they're generally event characters, so they're generally kind of average. So I think Wang Fa was actually pretty good as a defense lead. He's not terrible, has good usage, and I'd like to see kind of like just an offensive support character in the kind of same sort of mold. When it comes to the trait, probably tough. So, a tough character that boosts tough characters on attack, because we've got an alert character that boosts alert characters. We've got fast character that boosts fast characters. We haven't got a strong character that boosts strong characters, but they can hold the strong attacks weapon. Tough is kind of like in this not great state when it comes to just like tough teams, in my opinion. So like a tough support that boosts the damage or damage potential of other tough characters would be kind of cool.
Okay, I like that. And it is a good call out to mention that we don't necessarily have that new character coming. Like, in my mind it was just kind of a given, which is definitely the wrong mindset to have, because if they haven't said that it's going to happen every refresh, then we shouldn't just assume. But I would say that most players probably do assume that it is going to be another character in there. Tex, what do you think? What kind of character would you like to see? Would you, what would you
I
cherry pick?
I absolutely agree with lockdown. That was pretty much what I was going to say. Um, just a little bit more added to it is that I would like to see a blue tune in the market like Lady Z, where Lady Z gives that boost. She's also can do some adequate attack damage. She helps with the control side as well too. So I would love to see a blue tune in the realm of Lady Z, simply because with how tanky defenses are, you need attack boosts. There's no way you can beat these teams without some sort of attack boost or some other like tchotchke way of like infection or something of that nature, like heal reduction, maim, those type of combinations and things of that nature. So I think that you definitely need that tune to come in, sort of like a Lady Z-ish type tune that's blue, that's gonna help boost the blue tune so you can make a really good blue attack team.
Okay. See, I kind of went the exact opposite direction as the two of you. Um, I do want a leader, but I wanted a fast attack leader that was infection based. Because I look at a lot of these characters at the moment that, you know, mass amounts of defense, mass amounts of HP. And as somebody who doesn't have, the newest promos that are just damage dealers, I would like an alternate route. They kind of killed our ability to do that with William, with Bleed and Burn. Like that's, I mean, as much as he might not necessarily be used on every defense team, he's going to be on, if people have him, he's going to be on one of their three defense teams. And there's so many ways to deal with Bleed and Burn now that you could essentially just have one way to deal with Bleed and Burn on every team. So I want another avenue to go through. I want a fast attack leader that is infection based and has some heal reduction thrown in there. I mean, you could still run damage behind them if you wanted to, but that would be the route that I would personally go with it. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I want to thank my friends Lockdown and Tex for joining me.
Anytime, brother. It's been fun.
Yeah, no problem, man. I did enjoy it. Thanks.
Um, but yeah, that's all I got for this video. And remember, guys, it is a game, so try and have fun. This is going to be your friendly neighborhood man on the moon, signing off. Later, guys.